It can be hard to go to work every day when you don't feel safe, or if there's an environment of uncertainty, conflict, bullying, or a lack of trust. I've been there, and this webinar shares 7 strategies I use to keep going when the going got real tough. I have a webinar on 7 ways to protect yourself, and I'll share the link so you can watch it. However, these are different strategies. Before I dive in, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Nicole, founder and Chief Courage Officer at Neon Shed, and I help create safe, courageous, and thriving workplaces. I've got over 20 years experience in communications and more than a decade's experience in work health and safety and workers' comp. I've worked for both New South Wales safety regulators, the Workers' Comp Insurer, and the Workers' Comp Independent Review Office. I'm the host of the podcast Under the Rug at Work, the Dark Sides of Work Summit, and the world first lived experience summit for bullying and sexual harassment. Neon Shed brings light to the dark sides of work and gives people the tools and options to know how to have a safe workplace. The first thing you need to survive is having a mate or an ally at work. This makes a real difference. Having a friend at work makes life more bearable when things get bad, and it makes it more fun when things are great. If you don't have a mate at work, get to know your colleagues in your team or outside, and it will make a huge difference. It's actually the #1 factor in reducing sick leave and incidents of injuries. You need to get incidents out of your head. Otherwise, you ruminate over them and what happened, and you also risk remembering things incorrectly. Writing it down gets it on paper and it takes the weight off your brain. Now, you can do it on paper, or you can do it through your personal email or through an encrypted confidential incident reporting app, which we are able to share that with you. And I can share the link in the information down below. So this app is part of the Workplace Support Program, which also gives you a knowledge base with tools and resources to know what to do in these situations, to know your rights and responsibilities, and identify what is and what isn't bullying. We also provide options, coaching, and support, and access for your GP to provide holistic mental health support if that's something that you want. There's also the potential for a discussion with a legal advocate in some situations. The program's proven to reduce bullying and harassment at work by up to 90%, and it provides the themes, incident mapping, and reporting for organisations to understand the root cause of issues. They also get notified of serial perpetrators and are presented with the behaviours and facts, not the emotions or who said what, so it remains confidential and behaviour change can be made. If you have any annual leave, sick leave, RDOs, any type of leave, make sure you take it. Make sure you have clear boundaries as well, so when you're not at work, you're not working. Because the thing is, the more you do, the more they expect and the more work you get. So don't regularly do 200% because you will suffer and burn out. If you don't have any leave that you can take, make sure you're taking your lunch breaks and have micro breaks throughout the day. Stepping away from your desk or the bully, for example, gives us time to breathe and get out of that fight, flight, freeze mode and disconnect, even if it's just for a moment. A micro break could be as simple as going out and getting a coffee, having a walking meeting so that you're not in the office, or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It's easier to deal with when you know what you're dealing with. So most people behave from a needs basis. And what I mean by this is you'll see the behavior that shows the need that they're trying to fill. So this could be their need for power and control, their need to be heard or respected, or their need to be right or to win at all costs. Now, these often come from unmet needs as a child. So if they weren't heard or listened to in their childhood, they will often force to be heard as an adult. You're also seeing how they were parented and how they parent. Our parents are the first people we see as leaders, and their behaviours are embedded in us in the important and early development stage of our lives. Without being self-aware, wanting to grow and improve, and doing training and development, or having great leaders, people revert to their instinctive leadership style which is often how we were parented. You're also seeing people's trauma. We need to prioritize healing our traumas, whether it's childhood trauma, workplace trauma, or others. Otherwise, we get triggered and can react instead of respond to some situations. When people behave badly, it could be because they're lashing out due to past trauma and they haven't considered or focused on working through it. I had an executive who screamed at me in a team meeting because I did something that he thought was wrong. He then started to embellish and said that I'd made spelling errors and other things that simply weren't true. I just sat there with my boss sitting next to him and saying nothing. And by doing this, he condoned his behavior. I read the room, and because I was new, I didn't speak up, but I also knew what I was dealing with. This was an older guy telling me through his actions that I was junior to him and he was able to do what he wanted. I saw Cartman screaming, "You will respect my authority." And I simply said to myself that this guy's broken and I still get paid whether I do the right or the wrong thing and whether I spoke up or I stayed silent. If it happened again, I would have said in the meeting, "What's your objective by screaming at me?" It wouldn't really matter what his answer was, whether it was my work wasn't good enough or I should have done, X, Y, or Z. My response would then be, do you think you're achieving that objective by creating an unsafe work environment or by raising your voice? Now, this leads into the next one where you need to arm or protect yourself. You've got to know what you want to say or how to deflect or protect yourself when incidents do happen. And the thing is, you don't have to say anything, but it could be as simple as saying, "Excuse me for a moment," and just leaving, especially if it's sexual harassment. If you feel unsafe, just get out of the situation. There is no need to explain yourself. Write the incident down or go directly to HR, work health and safety, or management and report what's happened if you feel safe to do so. Saying something in the moment does take courage, but if you select just one simple phrase that you can say that's non-threatening and takes the heat off you, you will survive. It could be something as simple as, "What's your objective? Can we get back on track with the meeting?" Or, "Can we keep the conversation respectful?" Or you could also say something like, "Your leadership style isn't working for me. Can we have a chat about how I work best?" How questions put the focus on the solution rather than the person, and they will be less likely to feel attacked. Now, I also say, do your best not to be sarcastic or come across as aggressive, as this will immediately get them on the defensive and create more conflict. So, for example, you could say, "What's your objective here?" And with whatever they say, you could say, "Okay, can we do that without raising our voices?" And using "our" puts you into it, and it then also isn't an attack on them, even though they may be the one doing the wrong thing. One of the big things that worked for me was removing negativity as well. So I find we do a lot of things that we don't like to do, either by obligation or maybe because of it's family and friends. But I found removing negativity from my life as much as possible inside and outside of work made a huge difference. I cut out a few negative friendships that didn't bring me joy. I stopped seeing family members who were bad for my mental health, and I stopped going to places and events and activities that I just didn't want to be at. Things got quieter, but it also made space for more fun. What gives you joy? What do you love to do? Who do you love to hang out with? Do more of that. I'm giving you permission to do more of that. For me, I love watching funny movies, hanging out with friends who make me laugh, getting out in the garden, hanging out with my chickens, reading books, and taking naps. Now, the final strategy is building your courage. There are things you can do physiologically to create more courage and get out of your head and out of that doom that you're living in or you're about to walk into. Social psychologist Amy Cuddy shares that power posing and standing in that posture of confidence, like Superman or Wonder Woman, even when we don't feel confident, can boost our feelings of confidence. Standing in this position for 2 minutes makes us more courageous. And I'll share the TED Talk down below where she provides more details on that. Music is such a mood changer as well. And I used to listen to a song on my drive into one terrible workplace where, and this is the part where you'll need your headphones because it's not really appropriate for school or work, but it is relevant and it's super funny. And it helped me see the lighter side and arm me to go into a terrible workplace. So if you're going into a terrible workplace today, I hope it helps.
Trisha, this song is for you. I don't fuck with you. You little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you.
What?
You little dumb ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. I got a million trillion things that I'd rather fucking do.
All right, fuck it. That's what we're doing? All right.
Than to be fucking with you. Little stupid ass, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I don't give a fuck about you or anything that you do. Don't give a fuck about you or anything that you do. I heard you got a new man, I see you taking a pic. Then you posted up thinking that it's making me sick. But I see you calling, I've been making it quick. I'ma answer that shit like I don't fuck with you. You little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. You little dumb ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. I got a million trillion things that I'd rather fucking do
Okay. Music stopped.
than to be fucking with you.
Yep.
Little stupid ass, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, bitch.
Stop
I
the
don't
music.
give a fuck about you or anything that you do. Don't give a fuck about
Music
you or
stop.
anything that you do.
Okay.
Who's the loser now, Trisha? Bully this bitch.
Oh my! I was unaware of the lyrics and the strong language in that song, so I do apologize. But you know what? I apologize for nothing else.
So clearly not suitable for work, but I was going into a workplace with one particular toxic individual, and that video really helped me put a smile on my face and think of it differently. So I hope you enjoyed the 7 strategies. I hope they really help. Let me know in the comments below which strategy helps you the most, and let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to cover in these pre-webinar series.